What is up, everybody? Welcome to the TechHub.training SQL or SQL Barry B. Benson Company Challenge Solution. So let's just get right into it. So here, pulled up the relationships between all the tables. Also have all the tables pulled up here, so we can kind of look at those as we have questions. But as you can see here, this employee table connects with the employee group, title, and budget. And then the trip table connects the employees to trip detail, destination, and the expense purpose. So yeah, you can kind of see the primary keys and foreign keys. This will help us find out what tables we need for the different questions. So as we go to the problem, so here we want to find all the employees with the first names that start with B and that have taken over 77 trips, and by expense purpose. So each expense purpose trip for each employee starts with letter B and that have 77 or more. And then we sort it by last name, then expense purpose alphabetically, and then by number of trips from greatest to least. And then when I have these headers, first name, last name, expense purpose description, and number of trips. So we'll get to Bradford, what he did later. But let's just hop over to our solution. So here, select the columns we want. So I just named my table, employee table as E, expense purpose as EP, and trip as T. So I want the first name, last name from the employee table, the expense purpose description from the expense purpose table, the count of trip IDs as the number of trips, and then here is the inner join, which can get kind of dicey. But as you can see here, we need the employees all the way to expense purpose ID and description. So we need to connect employee to the trip to trip detail, and then trip detail to expense purpose. So we have to join, 4 tables? So here we have this first parentheses, we have inner joining the employee to trip. The next parentheses, we have inner joining that with trip detail, and then in the outer we have it joined to the expense purpose. And here with the where function, it's kind of like a filter. So we want to find the first names that have B as the first letter, and we can use that, find strings with like. We use like, and then we put whatever we want in between the quotations. So we want B, and then we don't care whatever comes after in the first name column as long as it starts with B. And then whenever you have an aggregate function like count or sum or anything like that, you have to group by whatever is not being aggregated. So we have first name, last name, expense purpose description that aren't aggregated. And then this is where we can do the filter with the aggregate function. It's after the group by. So having helps us, it's basically like a where, but with the aggregate functions. So after the group by, we can do where the count of the trip IDs is greater than 77. And then here we order by. It'll just default to ascending. So you don't have to put this ASC here. But last name, expense purpose description, and then the count descending. So that gets us here. You can see we have 31 rows. And it's broken down by expense purpose ID and number of trips. So now going back to the problem with this first solution, we see Bradford had got 41 rows with Barbo as the first last name and Butler as the last name in his query. So maybe if you guys played around a little bit with the SQL, you maybe found that if you change this first name to the last name, we get the 40 rows with Barbo as the first, Butler as the last. So what Bradford did was he just made a mistake and he did the where with the last name instead of the first name. So now moving on to the second, change that. Now moving on to the second one, we want to see locations that have letter B and the total amounts. So we want to order by location alphabetically, and then by the sum from greatest to least. And we want to have location total amount. So if we go back to relationships, so we want to get from this destination ID to the amount on the trip detail. So we need to join to trip and then join the trip detail, so we can get this amount and the locations. So here we do the selection, location, amount, total amount. This is our inner join, destination to trip, and then trip to trip detail. We use the same like and where function with B, but this time we put the asterisk before and after, so we can get any number of characters before and after as long as it has B in it. Group by the location because it's not the aggregate part, and then we order by location and the sum descending. So that gets us here, as you can see. Bada bing, bada boom. And then we see that Bradford got 30 rows, but Zambia's is first and Abu Dhabi's is last. So we go back to our query. We see that we also got 30 rows, but Abu Dhabi's first and Zambia's last in ours. So what Bradford did was he just made this location reverse alphabetical or descending, and we get that. So that's the mistake Bradford made. Now moving on to the third question. Barry wants to see employees that share the names of his 3 sons, Brian, Brent, and Bruce, and their job titles. So order by first name, descending, last name descending, then title ascending. So reverse alphabetical for those, and then title by alphabetical. And we want first name, last name, and title. And there's duplicates, but it's okay. We won't worry about those for this challenge. But looking at the relationships, this one's really simple. We just have employee and title that we need to join. So we just join the employee and title tables together. So as you go here, this one's really simple. We have first name, last name, and the title. Join the employee, inner join title and title ID. And then here we use the same where and like, but we have to use it 3 times. So we want to find ones that are like Brian or like Bruce or Brent. You can put the asterisk here as well to help us find anything after Brian and Bruce and Brent. And then here obviously we have title or the name descending, last name descending, and title ascending. Again, it's default to ascending, so you don't need to put ASC after if you don't want to. We go here and we have 29 records, and you can see we got a couple duplicates with Brian and Brian McKay. But yeah, it's looking good. And then we go back here. So Bradford only got 7 rows with Brett Mannion as the first employee and Brent as the last. So we got Bruce and we got Brent first and last, but we only got 7 records. So maybe after playing around, you guys found out that Bradford just forgot to put in Brian. So he found Bruce and Brent, but forgot Brian. So that's what he did wrong. But yeah, that is the challenge solution. Thank you all for coming, doing the challenge. Yeah, tell everyone about TechHub.training and continue to do more challenges. Thanks.